Kia ora, g'day, and welcome to the Cricketers Network in the New Zealand autumn time. There's not much cricket happening on these shores, but there is all over the world, mostly in South Asia, a little bit in Europe. But to talk it all over with me from the unique New Zealand perspective is Ben Horne and Kyle Mills. Gentlemen, welcome to the Cricketers Network. You guys are really good. You seem fresh, even though this is the second time we've done this, but the people at home don't know that.
Do we run through the same chat that we
let's do the same chat again.
Same chat. Yeah.
Aren't you going on honeymoon soon, Ben?
Yeah, certainly am. Off-seasoning, which is always a long off-season for a retired player, but yeah, looking forward to that.
So how do you prep for a honeymoon these days?
Well, you got to get your loads up, don't you?
Loads.
That's the key thing. Yeah, you got to be prepped and ready to go.
See, when they gave me this job, they're like, can a stand-up comedian keep it clean? And then look, it's the actual cricketers who don't keep it clean. Don't do a groin muscle.
So stretching.
Stretching, very, very important. Welcome, gentlemen. Look, as I said, there's not much cricket happening in New Zealand, but lots of cricketers from New Zealand playing all over the world. New Zealand just wrapped up a 1-all T20 series draw with Bangladesh in Bangladesh. And the second game was rained out. We talked a bit about the first game last week, but we won the final game in a low-scoring, rain-affected thriller. Anyone have eyes on this?
Wow, it was a low-scoring tour, wasn't it, all round?
Was.
The wickets looked grindy, innings were slow, people who were getting 60s and 70s were usually winning games. It's a bit of a tough watch, to be fair.
Yeah, I found the one day as a real tough watch, if I'm honest. I didn't mind the T20s. Maybe it's just, I don't know, it was less to grind through. But yeah, those middle orders in the, those middle overs in the one-day games were pretty rough watching, weren't they?
Yeah, good to obviously with the loss in the one-day series to sort of get our nose in front in the T20 series. But a few guys stood up and performed. Bevan Jacobs had a good result in that last game, which will hopefully give him some confidence at the international level. But it is kind of funny. We discussed it last time I was on the show. It being an international tour, and I feel like it should just be an A tour touring of Bangladesh. But look, the players don't have any control over that, but they got an opportunity and some stood up.
Yeah, it's a bit different to your day, isn't it? When, you unfortunately were part of the series where New Zealand lost 4-0 to Bangladesh in Bangladesh and heads rolled all over the place, whereas now it's not really like that, is it?
Thanks for that reminder.
Yeah.
That was the dark depths of my cricketing career, actually.
I just remember you actually being one of the batters that stood up, so that was...
It was great. For that tour, they had like a biggest six. They got awards for everything over there, and they had like a biggest six. And the manager, I got a big six one of those days. But we walked down on the bus. We were going back to the hotel with your $100 US note to say, congratulations, that's your prize for getting the biggest six.
Oh,
good stuff. That's how business should always be done. If I'd known this earlier.
It's true. Yeah, I love that cash economy. You can't really get that anymore, do you?
Wasn't a hairdryer?
No hairdryer. Well, I was on that tour when was it Vittori won a car?
Oh, yeah.
And he was doing donuts around in Sri Lanka that time.
Wonderful. That's what you want to do.
It's like the hole-in-one prize, isn't it? Like the beamers on the sideline, but not quite at that level.
Not quite that level.
Yeah.
So was it you probably not necessarily allowed to talk about this, but let's try anyway. He wins a car. Is it the deal where he sells it and everyone shares the prize money?
Oh, we go back to the
That's the Richard
80s.
Hadley story, isn't it? The Richard Hadley story was, because I guess the players weren't paid that much back then, so the idea is if you did win anything, it went kind of into the player pool, but Sir Richard went, no, I've earned this, and he kept it.
Doesn't the car... Doesn't like Wells and Lane have that car?
Yeah, so Paul Ford and Mike Lane, the Base Brigade OGs, they own that car. It's kind of it's in a warehouse in Wellington. Just I imagine it like in my head, it's like at the end of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it's just in this massive warehouse in a box somewhere.
Can't imagine it having an up-to-date warrant, would it?
I'd very much doubt it has an up-to-date warrant. I think it's. Do you know much about it, Dennis?
No, I've got a curious George question.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you win it in Sri Lanka or somewhere overseas.
Yeah.
And someone puts it in a box and brings it over.
I think they do. They ship it over. But in the old days, it was understood that whatever prize money you won as like MVP or whatever was put into a kind of the player fund.
That's right.
But Sir Richard bucked against that trend, and I mean he probably did carry the team back then. To be fair,
decade.
Yeah, for an entire decade. Yeah. No, it's probably a bit different now, isn't it? Because everyone seems to get paid. Let's talk about Bevan John Jacobs. Never has there been so much raps on a player, I think, in modern times. I saw him play a little bit. Where was that? Somewhere in the subcontinent. He didn't look great against spin, but he certainly saved that last game for New Zealand, and probably his first significant innings. Has he arrived?
Clearly, he's a very good player, and he's demonstrated that a lot here in New Zealand on the smaller venues, the good surfaces, and domestic bowlers. Every time he's gone to a Black Caps environment, he hasn't had a consistent run of game time. So I actually feel sorry for him a little bit. He carries the drinks a wee bit, but he did get exposed. He just brought it up in India. I think, was it Varun Chakravarti spun a web around him, but he wouldn't be the first that's received that from Varun for sure. So he just needs more exposure on the subcontinent, and that's where this tour was good for him, and for him to have some success. Hopefully that gives him a bit more confidence, but it goes up a level when you take on Pakistan and Sri Lanka and India in that part of the world.
You played against him?
Yeah, played against him. I've commentated obviously the last two Super Smashes, and I think what's really impressed me about him from when he started as a finishing hitter and could come in and generate a strike rate and get 20 off 10 or 8 or whatever it is. Last year for the Aces, and he batted 4, and he came in usually where they were under the pump, 2 or 3 down, for not many on the board, and he managed to pace his innings really well and show maturity and being able to know when to accelerate and know when to pull back, which is a lot easier said than done. And I think let's just lock him in for the next couple of years in terms of getting time under belt in the environment across the world, so he can get exposed to different sorts of bowlers, different types of conditions, and just get time in seat really leading into the next T20 World Cup.
Tell you someone else who impressed me was Jaden Lennox. Now he, I think, looks like a kind of guy who just kind of wanders up to the crease. He's got kind of long hair, looks like he kind of lives somewhere near the beach, and doesn't look like he puts in a lot of effort, but it's very effective, I think.
Yeah, I don't know him at all, but he appears to be pretty unflappable, as you say, and to be honest, he's made every post a winner since playing in the subcontinent over the last 6 months, and earned his stripes as well. I kind of like that. He's had success here and done his time here in domestic cricket, which we produce good players, and for him to have that success and almost elevate himself in a kind of a leader type role as well very quickly in his career is pretty decent.
Well, he's got to buck the trend of like the young player getting blooded, hasn't he, in terms of, as you say, done his time around the domestic circuit, knows his game really well, going into a Black Caps environment, backs his skill set and his ability, and delivers consistently. Really bowls a bad ball, can obviously show up over after over and be calm under pressure, and I think that's great skill set in that sort of environment. Yeah,
that calmness. Sometimes it's good when it's going well, but when it's not, I think it can seem like you don't care. So. I'm glad it has gone well for him. Yeah. It looks like sometimes you're not putting in effort, but it's that's actually when I'll name drop, but when I interviewed Mark Waugh recently for a live thing, and he said he always got this tag of being elegant and kind of effortless, but he goes when it goes badly, it looks like you don't give a shit. Yeah,
he did have that kind of body language, didn't he? Compared to his brother, who was a bit more intense.
But both of those are kind of like media tags almost. Like he got this thing of like, I'm elegant and my brother is gritty. And he said some other times it was completely the other way around.
Yeah.
But it just kind of fits the narrative, doesn't it? That one's relaxed and
yeah. You make a good point though. If I could go back in time and had that more of a don't care approach, I reckon I would have had better success. Because I think some players care so much that then the pressure comes on and situations will dictate more pressure, but some players, if you go into that sort of approach, I don't care what will be, I'll just try and execute, I would have had more success.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you can care too much. Good often players, cricketers generally become relatively selfish as well because they want to get selected in the next game or selected on the next tour, so you've got all these kind of facets sort of weighing on you. Whereas if you had like she'll be right, will be approach. When you compare it to say someone like Kane Williamson or Daniel Vettori, who don't really have to worry about selection because they're just so good, they just get pick.
Yes.
But 90% of the team are constantly worried about that. You know, am I going to go on the next tour? What do I have to do? If you could take all that stuff away and have that sort of, you obviously care, but that kind of mindset, what will be will be.
Look, it was always a slight shock to me as somebody who, grew up watching cricket and cared so much about it. And then when I certainly didn't join the team, but then when I worked for New Zealand Cricket and was on the road when you were still in the team, Millsy, doing the ground announcing stuff, and I was hanging out in the hotels and hanging out with you guys, and your ability to, if it was a bad game and you'd lost, or sometimes lost heavily, to just let it wash off you. And I even asked, I think I asked Jacob Oram once, and I said, how do you not care?
Yeah.
It looks like, and he goes, you just can't.
You can't, Well, 2 days later, he's playing again.
That's right. I mean, it's different because cricket, you do play, the turnaround's so short between games often in a series. I mean, it's, if you're an All Black or whatever, at least you got a week. You know what I mean?
I think particularly for a spinner in today's climate as well, where T20 cricket and big hittings become more and more prevalent, like, they're just going to get carted from time to time, and they know that, and they're prepped for that, and they just have to be able to bowl the next delivery knowing that, yep, I've just been carted, but that's part of cricket, and how do I come back better here, and how do I do what I do well and trust my process and my skill set and execute. So, I mean, there's quite a lot of spinners around now who have that sort of approach. And I remember even when Nathan McCallum was playing, he said he used to kind of calm himself down at the top of the mark by having like a little laugh or a little smile, like similar to Damien McKenzie when he kicks, sort of thing, and it just resets him and allows him to get back into the next ball.
Yeah, see, that's so hard as a spinner, because it's not like if you get cartage, it's not like you can run down and put one halfway down the pitch and try and take the player's head off, right? Like at least Millsy could maybe dig one in short. Whereas
that's right,
a spinner, it tends to go the other way, don't they? They get angry and then they throw one up.
Call us.
We had a fielding coach for a period of time, and you'll remember Travis Wilson, played softball for New Zealand, went through the baseball ranks in the States and came into our environment. And he talked about in baseball, they play 160 odd games a year, I think it is. He felt if you walk into a cricket environment during a game, he can tell, without looking at the scoreboard, he could tell whether you guys were up or down in the game, if you're winning or losing.
Right.
And he said in baseball, the big thing is you should walk into a dugout and not know that team is winning or losing or up and down. They should have a consistent kind of vibe. He said you could walk into a cricket changing room and tell straight away you got batters sulking in the corner because they've missed out or got a duck, or someone's joyous because they've got 100 or whatever. And that was the thing we try to work on during his time in the team, is try to display the same body language and the same kind of mood in the camp, whether we're getting a hiding or up by a lot. I found that fascinating.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I guess in cricket, there's always, because it's a team game played by individuals, there's always a chance to at least redeem your own day. Like if you looks like you're going to lose, and you're almost certainly going to lose, at least you can go out and have a whack and maybe get 40-50, right? Where in other sports, if I watch like the NRL and a team's losing by 50 and there's still 10 minutes to go, I'm like, how on earth do you run the ball back? Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
That's a very good point.
How do you motivate yourself? I wanted to talk about low-scoring thrillers, because in a T20 game, I'll be honest, I enjoy them more than I'd rather watch 130 or what, even less, a seaming pitch and it's like 110, and then the next team in is like 50 for 4, and you're like, this is actually interesting now. Whereas I'm not as interested in 265 plays 266.
I like the low scorers if it's a seamer friendly wicket, as opposed to a slow, dusty.
I guess that's what I mean.
Like Turner. I think if the ball's moving around and there's excitement at the top of the innings, and then maybe there's a little bit of a renaissance through the middle with the bat and then that sort of stuff, I think that's quite interesting. I think if it's just slow and it's tough to get off the square, like that's quite boring.
Yeah, that was a little bit like watching those boys one day as in Bangladesh just recently, right? Yeah.
I do find the best test matches are when like the first innings is like 250 and then they kind of 250, 270 type innings. I find they are the best test matches to watch.
Yeah, that's why the two best countries in the world to play Test cricket are New Zealand and England. Which we'll get onto that in a little while. We're going to talk about the New Zealand upcoming Test series for the men's side. I want to have a little chat about IPL. Not a lot of Kiwis in action over the last week. Finn Allen got a run. Kyle Jamieson got a run. Got out the wonderkind. God, I had it too.
Just a
Suravanshi.
A good prospect.
Yes, Suravanshi. There we go. And then gave him a wee send-off. How do you feel about that to a 15-year-old?
Pretty good. he was the top run scorer at the time, so completely fair enough. He's well established at that level. I think he's already got 2 IPL hundreds, so yeah, he can cop a send off for sure.
Yeah, I think he has 4 hundreds in total. Fastest or youngest ever player to 1,000 IPL runs, insane. So yeah, you reckon that's it? So is it dependent on how much success you have as opposed to your age?
It's interesting though, isn't it? I remember about 4 years ago in Aussie Rules, quite a violent game in many respects. This young kid played, 17 or 18, and then it was this tough Aussie Rules player, and he knocked him out during the game. And I said, well, this kid's 17, you can't be doing that. But he was like, well, he's in the big boy environment. If he wants to step over the rope and play Aussie Rules, this is what... And I remember there was a big political kind of influence of that post that game, and it's kind of similar to here. Like 14 last year, that's bloody young to be playing with men who are a bit more hardened and accustomed to the odd sledge and how to bounce back from a sledge. And
it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's a non-contact sport, cricket, supposedly, right? But it's not, because you're hurtling a projectile at 150 kilometres an hour sometimes at somebody, and it can literally kill them. So it's difficult. Whereas to go back to the NRL again, I think you've got to be 18 to play first grade.
18, is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny though. There are grown men who struggle with the social influence of failure and sort of stuff, who struggle, like All Blacks and New Zealand cricketers. How's a 14, 15-year-old kid meant to deal with that sort of stuff? Let's say he gets a string of ducks.
Yeah.
Socially, he would be under the pump massively. You've got grown men who can't handle that.
Totally. I mean, you'd say he's probably an old soul, right? Like he's probably just mature for his age, but apparently to prepare he watches cartoons, so...
But yeah, to Millsy's point, I think the pressure of dealing with being a cricketer in India versus getting a spray from JMO, it's not quite the same. So he's going to be fine with that because he'll have all those walls of fans and pressure around him that he would be had to be dealing with. So
yeah. I mean, a spray's one thing. I think Virat Kohli versus Sam Constas a couple of years ago at the MCG, I believe it was, who put his shoulder into him. That's probably crossing a line. And that's probably not based on age. That's just any player. But Sam Constas, I think, was 19 at the time, wasn't he?
That was just a big dog keeping the little dog in check, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is my space.
You ever do that, Millsy?
No. I would attempt to then scurry away.
As a keeper, Horne, do you look for those little weaknesses with your chat? Would you go after a guy's youth?
Well, when my weakness was chat, I think I was probably struggling a little bit, to be fair. No, I was never really much of a sledger. I kind of I liked watching it. I loved watching it, and I didn't mind getting involved if I wasn't driving it, so I was a coward. But I sort of preferred just to have general non-cricket chats with the batters and that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But were you one of those keepers who does the kind of passive-aggressive sledge where it's not to the player, but it's about the player to your teammates?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you do that, right?
You talk about them loudly enough for them to hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or you talk about who's in next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Start getting ready as a left-hander next.
Yeah, that was me. The cowardly passive-aggressive approach. Thanks. Yeah.
It's the Kiwi way. I think we're the best at passive aggression in the world. It was sticking with the IPL. We had a bit of quite passionate chat last week about the impact player rule. Both Susie Bates and particularly James Neesham were very against the impact player rule, saying that it's basically kind of ruined the whole idea of balance in a cricket team.
Are you saying that Nish was quite outspoken?
Yes, I know. It surprised me too. It's
quite unlike him, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But do you know what? He found his camera and did it down the barrel.
Yeah,
That's how much. Yeah, it's a bit of media training as well.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, and this is how I understand it, you carry 12 players and you you can sub one out basically. So you can go with 7. You don't really need all rounders anymore, right? How do you feel about it? Is this an innovation that you're with?
I remember we trialled this in international cricket about 10, 12 years ago.
Really?
Or maybe longer.
Really?
Actually.
Super sub.
Okay.
The super sub, yeah.
Oh, right.
Look, I'm not a fan of it. Like I'm not a fan of the 100, that competition.
Sure.
I just think there's too much of this stuff going on. I think we need to go back to... cricket's hard enough as it is. Let's just go back to just simplifying it. 6 balls and over, 11 people play.
Yep.
Batters, bowlers, all-rounder. I just think we're going too far, and they talk about attracting fans to the game all the time, but how do you attract a fan when there's different rules for different regions, for different tournaments, no matter where you are in the
Different
world,
formats.
different formats, there's all this stuff going on. I mean, it's hard enough to explain it to someone as it is now.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like the way they're using it, some guys are absolutely milking it. Like Travis Head goes in, tees off, gets 40 off 13, and then he's like, thanks fellas, feed her up for the rest of the day, don't have to field. Like, that is just, what a gig that is.
Is it come from baseball? Because isn't that what you can do in baseball? I shouldn't know.
Just be about getting more people in, wouldn't it?
Pinch hitter, yeah.
In baseball, that's right.
I don't think it's bringing more fans to the game though.
I don't think so. And I get confused with the 100, with the 5 balls and over. I just don't like all that stuff. It's just too much going on. It's too busy.
Yeah, I think Nish and Suze were right in terms of the balance as well. Like, you know, particularly if you're a bowling unit and you take early wickets in the power play, three of the power play is the magic number. But all of a sudden, that is sort of 2 now because you've got an extra batter who's an out-and-out batter who comes in whenever you want them to come in, and your batting lineup extends from 8 to 9 or from 7 to 8. So, you know, the wickets don't mean as much and the batters can just keep coming as hard as they want, which I don't think is necessarily conducive to a good brand of cricket.
I totally agree, yeah.
What I find humorous, I'll just add a little bit more here, is T20 cricket was introduced to quicken the game up. It was meant to be real strict on time restrictions to get through your overs. Over in India, they have 2 timeouts in innings, so 4 timeouts during the game. Add in the pinch hitter, is that what it's called? The pinch hitter stuff?
The impact player.
Impact player, sorry, yeah. So the 3-hour game has now been extended out to almost 5, like 4.5 to 5 hours of time.
Yeah, that's right.
You might as well just go back playing the 50-over game.
So there's a whole sort of conspiracy theory, I guess, that the only reason that one-day cricket still exists is because you can sell more advertising on it, right?
Yep.
Even though the numbers are dropping off and its relevance is definitely dropping off, you can just sell so many more ads. Whereas in T20 cricket, particularly in those middle orders, middle overs, I keep saying middle orders. Middle overs where you've got spinners on and the turnaround between overs is so fast. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It's funny they had to eke it out.
Yeah,
and it's going to get like American football where there's just so little play for how much time you're there.
Television timeout and all that for the ads and
TV timeout. Yeah, there's going to be all that.
Commercials to make more money, but the whole point of T20 cricket was to introduce new fans and quicken the whole process up.
Now, podcasts and punditry shows are sometimes a little bit guilty of being suspicious of any innovation in cricket, right? And everyone's just kind of a bit negative at anything new that comes in. So I've kind of asked you, is there anything about cricket you would change? Is there an innovation that you think we should bring in? I can start it if you want. You can tell me what you think of this.
Can we start it so you don't steal our ideas?
Go.
I'm quite passionate about this, so I'm glad you asked the question.
Yeah.
This is going to be about the pillows, bit of pillow talk. I always hated leg buys.
Yes.
I thought
the pillows being the pads.
Pillows being the pads,
I've not heard that before, that's good.
So I don't think leg buys should be a thing. I think it's a bat versus ball game. If you get hit on the pads and it goes into the leg side or the offside, I think it should be no run.
Okay, can we get Chris Harris on the phone? Because his runs for New Zealand just halved.
Yeah, exactly. And then further to that rule, I actually don't really like the parameters of the LBW rule, like the pitching outside leg, impact in line.
Okay, let's do one at a time. So what happens if the ball hits the pad you can't run?
Dead ball off the pads.
So re-bolt?
No, not re-bolt.
Oh, just dead ball.
Yeah, and even if it flicks and goes for 4, that's a dot ball.
Okay, that's interesting. What do you think, Millsy?
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah, he likes it as a bowler.
Yeah,
not that it went against his stats, I guess. Yeah.
Don't mind it.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
The LBW, pitching outside leg, pitching in line.
How would you change that?
I think umpire has to make a judgment call of whether it's hitting the stumps or not. And if it's hitting the stumps, it can be given out. And if it's not hitting the stumps, it can be given not out. Because I think it takes out, seamers bowling around the wicket, spinners bowling into the rough. I don't like the padding off side of things.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So I think that it's a bat versus ball game. If the pad gets in the way and it would have hit the stumps, then you can be given out.
We talk about getting more people into the game or retaining more people. One of the hardest things to explain is those intricacies around the LBW rule, because you can kind of go, what is an LBW? Well, if it looks like it's going to bowl them out, but their legs get in the way, then it's out. It's still out. So it means you can't just stand in front of your wickets, right? That's how you explain it to a layman. But then you go, but there's all these other things.
It has to
as
be
well.
under a very specific set of circumstances, and it has to check off all those rules.
Yeah, if you're playing a shot, if you get hit, if it comes pitches outside off, you got to be playing a shot. I mean, yeah. I get the if you nick it onto your pads, that's still not out.
Exactly.
You've hit it, right?
Yep.
Millsy, what about you?
For me, I think the scores are just getting too high. I think fielding restrictions in the first 6 overs when it comes to T20 cricket, I think we need to relax those.
Oh, none.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
I think it's just gone 250 and 260 in innings. It's ludicrous.
Yeah.
So perhaps just some flexibility around that.
Fielding, yeah. See, so why did fielding restrictions come in the one-day game in like the 80s? Right? It was because I guess batters were starting their innings in a test manner, right? They were starting slow, and they went, right, we want people who've just tuned into TV to see 4s and 6s straight away, right?
Yeah. Yep. And on that a little bit, I like to, in one day cricket, to see 1 ball used, not 2.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think that needs to go to soften the ball at the back innings, bring back reverse swing, because all that's kind of been removed from the game.
Yeah.
And the best innovation that's kind of more from a broadcast point of view that's not on the field is the duck. Like, I used to love seeing someone get a duck or a golden duck and have that kind of little
Have
duck.
the duck.
That was probably the first bit of in cricket which was brought a bit of fun into the lounge at home, and it's been removed.
Yeah. Because I guess it's called a duck to shame you, right?
To shame you.
Yeah. So we have that question which you've both answered in the would you rather, which is would you rather get a first ball duck or 4 off 10? And quite a few players go, I'd rather get a first ball duck because there's not really the shame in the duck anymore.
Because you bring back the duck and the quacking.
Yeah.
As it goes off, as you're walking off, just to really demoralise someone.
Maybe we need to rebrand it, not call it a duck anymore. What's more embarrassing than being called a duck? I mean, loads of things, right?
Well, you got the golden duck, the royal duck, all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah,
there are
those
levels of the duck.
Yeah. But also on the scorecard in the Australian Test Series, it appeared
Little
as a
duck.
duck or a golden duck
Or a golden
if
duck,
it was a
that's
first
right.
baller.
That's the stuff that needs to come back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if a royal duck needed a little crown, didn't it? Where's that?
Where's all that
Okay,
from?
that's really good. That's good from both of you. Okay, here's my one, and I feel like you're going to disagree with me. This is for Test cricket only. No more tosses. No more tosses. Visiting side chooses.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
But I'll tell you why. You've probably worked it out. I'll tell you why. It means the manner of the pitch being completely dictated by the home side. It doesn't take it out of it, but it almost does.
Yeah, it
right?
just means they either have to back their skills more or prepare a more neutral surface.
That's right. Prepare a more neutral surface. It means that, I mean, New Zealand's as guilty of this as anyone, right? Is preparing a green seamer in the hope that you win the toss and bowl first, right? In Hamilton or in the Basin. Because I just think, Test cricket, it's so hard to win away from home. And yeah, that's great when it happens and it makes headlines, But I don't know. Do you think that would work?
Have they trialled that in first class cricket or in county cricket?
I think they had a rule where they said if the visiting team wants to bowl first, they could bowl, and if they wanted to bat, they had to toss or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It was something like that.
Yeah, something.
It was based around the greenness of the surface,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're both on board. I'm on board with all of those. That's all we've got for the first little section. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk New Zealand versus England Test Series. Now, if you are somewhere out there who has a company or involved with a large company, who'd like to come on board as a supporter of the Cricketers Network, please slip into our DMs and your ad could be right here and be broadcast to thousands. Welcome back. We've just all finished a schooner of Dream Beer each and ready to talk New Zealand versus England, the Crowthorpe Trophy. Did you know that's what it was called?
No.
I did. This is recent.
I think so,
Yeah.
fairly recent.
Yep.
New Zealand go to England at the conclusion of all these things that are happening in South Asia, and the first test versus England is at Lord's on the 4th of June. They also play at the Oval and Trent Bridge. So 2 games in London in a row. That's a pretty good few weeks here, isn't it? Don't have to move around.
Yeah.
Would you change hotels? Would you just stay where you are?
Say the same, I would think. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Kensington. Boys loving it.
Yeah, and then up to Nottingham for the 3rd game. Now for, Test cricket fans like myself and for you two as well, I imagine, this is the pinnacle, isn't it, for New Zealand? Is playing in Lord's against England. We're going to go through our sides, our squads in a minute. It looks like pretty much everybody is fit, other than Mitchell Santner, who is out for the first test, definitely, and touch and go for 2nd or 3rd.
Great year of Test cricket for the fellas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boxing Day in Australia,
Yeah.
4 Test series across there, 3 Test series in England. That's a great year.
Yeah, I think most New Zealand fans would put the Australian tour as the pinnacle, but for me, I don't know. I think I've got too much trauma from us losing over there so heavily all the time. Whereas against England, it's always a real good contest.
Yeah.
So the last time we went there, we did lose that series. That was kind of the peak of Bazball, if we're to use that.
that's
if
right,
we're to
yeah.
use that term, Johnny Bairstow came out and smashed us round, and But
But it was a great series. We lost from positions of strength, so the games were really awesome.
That's right.
I remember they chased like 380 or 400,
That's
consistently throughout that series.
the series before that, of course, we won. I think it was just a 2-test series, and we won that 2-0. That was a really good. New Zealand at its peak, kind of, and probably England at their lowest. Mm-hmm. So this is somewhere in between, I guess. I'm going to go through mine first, unless you want to read yours. Have you got your? Did you memorise yours?
Yeah, I've tried to.
Have you, Millsy? Did you write yours down?
Well, not quite a boomer, because if I was a boomer, this would have been written down on a packet of fags. But
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
it's on the. I've written it down on a bit of paper.
No, you go. Okay, you go, Millsy.
Well, most of it just picks itself.
Yeah.
I would have thought.
I think the 11 picks itself, but I think the other 4 spots are quite interesting.
Okay, I'll go through an 11.
Okay, go the 11.
Latham, Conway, Williamson. I assume he's available.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ravindra, Mitchell, Phillips. Now Phillips above Blundell in the batting order.
Yes.
Jamieson, Matt Henry, Duffy, O'Rourke
Okay.
as an 11. And then I kind of got a few players. I think backup batter has to be Henry Nichols. Horne just
Interesting.
touched on it in the sense, big period of 8 months of Test cricket. Mm-hmm. He was dominant in the first class season. He's an experienced international cricketer.
Plays well in England.
Plays well in England, been there, done that. And if we look at this period, I know he's a bit older, but quite a lot of the boys are. I think he'll do well on that front. I've got Hay as the backup. You need a backup wicket keeper. You could flirt around with Tom Latham sort of potentially filling that role. And then I've got players bracketed, whether it's Smith, Folkes, or Patel, Bracewell.
Okay, so you've chosen 17 there.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to remove 2, which would possibly be Folkes and Patel.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's what I left AJ's out of my squad as well, just because it's so hard on him, because he's so good every time he plays for New Zealand. I just don't think he'll play, so there's no real point, right?
Yeah, I reluctantly left him out of my squad. I think that's unfair, but it's June in England, so
It's June in England too. Yeah, that's true. It's not like they're playing, I don't know, somewhere where it turns. I don't know much about Trent Bridge. I have been there, but the Oval kind of turns a bit, doesn't it, Millsy?
Yeah, it does. This is the thing. These pitches can change at different times of the English summer as well. Like the Oval can get bounce as well for the fast bowlers.
Right.
But I think it turns later in the summer when you look around because the Oval's traditionally normally that last Ashes test, right?
That's right.
And that kind of when it does turn a bit more
Because it's a
dusty
bit later in the season.
later in the season, where it's a bit earlier this time around. So, and we kind of got Rachin can fill a role, Phillips can fill a role. So there's people who can sort of fill that role. And I think our biggest strength is the fast bowling unit.
Yep.
And if they're all fit, O'Rourke's back and Duffy and Henry, Jamieson can play a role. Like you can really attack with those boys. So that kind of spin department, I think, can sort of just perhaps play that holding role.
Okay.
Yep.
Horne, have you got any changes there?
I have Will Young as my backup batter.
Yes.
And then I didn't have a backup keeper because I felt that if that was required, it would be an injury in game, of which Conway or Latham can take the gloves for a certain period of time before someone else comes in. And then I had Tickner in that position. So I had an extra seamer. So I had Smith, Tickner, O'Rourke, Henry, Duffy, Jamieson.
So no Smith, no Folks.
Smith, yes. No Folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So mine is fairly similar, but I've got another spinning all-rounder. I've got Michael Bracewell in my 11.
On your 11.
Yes, I've got him after Tom Blundell.
So no Jamieson.
No GP.
No, Henry, Jamieson, O'Rourke are my seamers. No Jacob Duffy. I put Jacob Duffy in my squad, but not to start.
So 3 seamers plus Bracewell and Phillips.
Correct. And Ravindra, I guess. In my 4 wider squad, backup batter is Will Young. Backup seamers are Ben Sears and Jacob Duffy. And here's my bolter, Dane Cleaver.
Okay.
I mean, he's not a young bolter. But I think that we need a backup wicket keeper, and it just can't be Tom Latham. You can't captain, open, and keep wicket, I don't think. And I don't know, I think Mitch Hayes had a real rough A tour, hasn't he?
But he played Test cricket last year, didn't he? And went all right.
He got 50 on debut.
He did, that's true. That's true.
Not Conway to keep?
Yeah, I don't know. He's not a test keeper, is he? I mean, he can fill a role, I suppose, if somebody broke down during a game. I think Dane Cleaver's been impressive over so many seasons in first-class cricket. Maybe not top in the averages, but in the top.
He's a good player. Yeah, and he's a nice keeper as well.
And he's an excellent keeper. And
his keeping technique actually suits UK conditions.
And is there pressure on Tom Blundell? I mean,
it's well, what's Tom Blundell up to? Like, I assume he wants to go through to the Australian tour, then perhaps hang up the gloves then. But like all the people we've named, it's a strong squad.
It really is.
Good players.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Blair Tickner's rough to get to miss out as well, because the thing I like about Blair Tickner is it feels like something could always happen.
I'd be surprised if he missed out, given he's flown home from Bangladesh to get his loads up.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, so he flew home
on a honeymoon.
He flew home from Bangladesh to train in the Lincoln, what is it, the 10th thing? To have loads ready for Red Bull summer. So I think I'd be shocked if he missed out.
Yeah, he feels like a player that would go well in England, right? And he just, I don't know, there's a real wild card.
He's just been on fire recently as well.
Yeah. I think Nathan Smith would be unlucky to miss out because he's done nothing wrong. I guess he's still new and he hasn't necessarily set the test world on fire. But bowled very nicely the other night in Bangladesh.
He did. Yeah, there's a bit about it.
I think it'll be between like the real tall boys like the Jamiesons and the O'Rourkes and the Searses. You'd probably get 2 out of those ones. And also, I don't know what Kyle Jamieson's intent around Test cricket is. Like, is obviously not having a great run body-wise and injury-wise with it. He's just come out of an IPL, so he might not be ready to play Test cricket. It'd be great to have him there, and if he's available, you got to get him in. But I'm not sure what his attitude.
Yeah, so that said, someone like Will O'Rourke who's coming back from injury, or Kyle, they probably won't play all 3, right? Even if they were selected in that first one and things went well, they probably you'd probably do 2 out of the 3.
Do we know they're sending 15, or potentially they could send 16? Is it?
I always assume it's 15 with these
15. I know
things.
some of the other, like when England and Australia tour, they carry 16, 17 players these days. So
Right. There's always
Means those matches don't go as far though, eh?
there's always that thing with an England tour is there's always players playing county somewhere.
That's true.
That you can bring in. I know Logan Van Beek's over there. I think AJ is over there.
that's right.
Playing. So
He just got 60 odd in the last week or so.
he did. Yeah. You forget he's quite a good bat. Yeah. Well, I don't know when the team is actually announced, but it's 4 weeks away, so I imagine it's not far away. So we'll see how far off we are. And that actually wraps up another episode of the Cricketers Network. So thank you to Ben Horne and to Kyle Mills, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers.